And away we go. Welcome into The Dish, a daily fantasy podcast powered by moonshotsmlb.com, using Moonshot MLB stats here throughout the podcast to talk through each and everything that I'm looking at to start here. So this will be my first look at today's slate. Going to be looking at the 10-game night slate over on DraftKings. We do have a number of early games. I believe it's 4 total 6 p.m. games today. And then we have the 10-game slate. I am back after a brief trip to Aruba. Can't you tell? But flew on down there to be at one of my wife's best friend's weddings. My wife and I were supposed to go together. Obviously, that did not come to pass, with my wife passing back on February 23rd. So they immediately, the two brides, invited us all, my daughters and myself, to attend. And so we did. And we got down there on Thursday. We got to spend some time on the beach, on some private island, and then some cabana time on Friday. Saturday was the wedding, again, back on that private beach. And Sunday, we flew home. Great place if you've never been. Highly recommend it. All of the things. Yes, it's expensive. Once in a lifetime opportunity for us. Put it on a credit card and figured I'll deal with it at a later time. I did get to spread some of my wife's ashes down there. It was something she was very much looking forward to before passing. And unfortunately not somewhere she got to see herself, but thought a good idea to have her settle there a little bit. We have other places we're going to spread some ashes over the next few months as well. So, personal stuff aside, we have this slate to dive into. I will point out, I made a point during the videos and audio last week about moonshotsmlb.com, and that I use Fangraph still for active rosters, and that for handiness and the like. What I have up on screen now, if you're watching the video, if you're listening, you can head on over to moonshotsmlb.com. Of course, the quick look here at subscriptions. If you're on the web, it's $159 for the 2023 season. That's the optimizer and everything else. $29 per month. That's recurring through the end of the season. $9 per week. Also recurring, you can get a one-day pass for $3. And that's not the worst idea. Test it out. See what's there. The Stadium Club with limited optimizer is $109 for the season, as you can see on your screen, or if you are listening. But if you take a look at this page here, which is the slate dashboard, so it's the matchup dashboard, you get all of your matchups here at the top, but you'll see here projected or confirmed lineup versus pitching hand 2022, 2023. So this is all of 2022 stats for the projected lineup. Or you also get projected lineup over the last 15 days. Now, 15 days sample size in baseball, we all know that can be a question mark. But this is really powerful tool if you just want to sort quickly and see what sort of stats the offense is putting up, or in turn, what you might expect from your pitcher. So we'll go quickly through the slate today. I will point out the wind is blowing out at Wrigley Field. Mariners at Cubs there. We also have 96 degrees for the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. I'm going to try to do a quick Twitter search here to see if we know if the Dome will be open or not in Arizona. Let's see. Quick look. Just some tweets there. Arizona Diamondbacks, Dome, no. All right, not seeing anything as of yet. Obviously, if you see anything over time, you can let us know. But this is supposed to be 96 degrees according to the projection here. Open dome there, warm weather. Could give us a nice offensive bump, even with Corbin Burns and Merrill Kelly on the hill. So, Tigers at Blue Jays, Matt Manning, Alex Manoah. You have Padres at Mets, Ryan Weathers versus David Peterson, a battle of southpaws. Reds at Braves, that's Luis Cessa versus Kyle Wright, newly off the IL. Mariners at Cubs, Chris Flexen versus Hayden Wesneski. You have the White Sox at Twins, Lance Lynn against Pablo Lopez. Royals at Rangers, Jordan Lyles, Jacob deGrom. Cardinals, Rockies at Coors Field, Miles Michaelis versus Kyle Freeland. Nationals at Angels, Josiah Gray versus Shohei Ohtani. Brewers, Diamondbacks, Chase Field, Corbin Burns, Merrill Kelly, as I said. And then you have the Dodgers and Giants, Dustin May, Alex Wood. A quick tour of our odds for today. Blue Jays, 5.8 implied total right now, 3.5 for the live for Detroit, over-under of 9 there. This is all available as well on Moonshots. I just like seeing the open versus the live here as seen on fantasylabs.com. This is a free tool they offer as well. San Diego and the Mets, 9 over-under, 4.4 runs each there. Braves, 5.3, down from 5.6 at open. 9 is the over-under. Reds are down to 3.5. Twins and Sox, 3.5 and 4.2 respectively. Mariners, Cubs, 5.3 for the Mariners, 5.4 for the Cubbies. 10.5 is our implied live total. Opened at 9.5. Somebody checked the weather forecast. 5.1 for the Texas Rangers, hosting 3.1 for the Kansas City Royals. 8 over-under total. Rockies and almost said Rockies. Rockies and Cardinals. 12 over-under. 6.9. Nice. 6.9. Cardinals implied total. Team total. Colorado Rockies 5.4. Angels hosting the Nationals, 5.7 for the Angels, 3.2 against Ohtani for the Nats. Arizona Diamondbacks and Brewers, 8.5 here, 4.1 for the Diamondbacks, 4.6 for the Brewers. I don't know enough about how the trends have been there in Arizona if this shows the dome is open or closed. 8.5 with Burns and Kelly. Feels somewhat inflated, so I'm going to assume that the dome's open there, but I'll try to keep researching that. And an implied total for 4.7 for the Dodgers, 4 for the San Francisco Giants, 8.5 over under. That's up from 7.5. And of course, that matchup is former Dodger Alex Wood against Dustin May, who I was big on. I think I talked about him last week, big on from a seasonal perspective. So let's take a quick tour here of our projected or confirmed lineup versus pitching hands. So again, righty or lefty matchup. Handiness is not everything, but you see the Tigers jump off the page. Not surprisingly, Alex Manoah is going to be one of your most popular pitchers on this slate. Manoah on the day. We go over to the pitchers dashboard. Actually, where do I want to go back to? I want to go back to our home page. So right-click there and drag this in line. And then we want to go to projections. All right, Alex Manoah is 7,700 on DK. He's going to be hella popular. He's going to be extremely popular. You look at our K projection, Whiffers Row, Manoah checks in at 6.6, line of 6.5 currently. Expected Ks of 6.6. Manoah is going to be really popular on DraftKings. So he stands out immediately looking at these numbers. The Twins projected lineup, 2022, 2023 stats against right-handed pitchers, 24.5% K rate, just 7.7% walk rate, an ISO of just 151, a home run per plate appearance of just 2.9%. So this is a Twins projected lineup that we saw yesterday was downright AAA. Lance Lynn, not projected particularly well, 16.12 DraftKings points, 9K salary on DK. Don't know what his ownership is going to be projected at as of yet. We'll be intrigued to see what Lynn comes in at. 9K is a high price point. You have Ohtani at 9,700. Aaron Nola is at 8,200. You have Manoah, who I already talked about, at 7,700. Corbin Burns is at 8,500. So you have some interesting price points here for pitchers trying to figure out exactly where you want to go. Let's see if I sort by pitchers here. Manoah is our best DK point per dollar. Then you have Nola. Miles Michaelis projected fairly well in Coors Field. Won't be going there. And I think I have to resort here. There we go. So going pitchers for this slate. Let's see. Yep, you got Manoah at the top. Lance Lynn, 1.79 DraftKings points per dollar. Again, not necessarily the exact thing you need to worry about, but still, nonetheless, an interesting projection. Going back to our slate look, the Braves are up against Luis Cessa at 23.8%, 1.87 ISO against righties. This isn't a matchup I favor Sessa in, so I'll stay away from that. Reds on the other side of this go up against Kyle Wright. Haven't seen any sort of pitch limit. Let's see if we can get something here on the Twitter machine. Braves Kyle Wright throws a nope. That's great. Kyle Wright, the Mets Braves starter through nope. Let's see latest. We'll probably see about 5 innings maybe. Let's see. He threw 84 pitches in his last outing. Here's David O'Brien from what is that? The Atlanta Constitution? Is that the name of the? No, he's at the Athletic. Braves pitcher Kyle Wright allowed 7 hits, including a homer, 5 runs, and 1 walk with 6 strikeouts in 6 innings for AAA rehab start for Gwinnett at Norfolk. He threw 53 strikes and 84 pitches. So let's assume between 80 and 95 pitches, which, if he's efficient, could give us 6 innings, 6 2/3 if he's really efficient. Walks could be a bit of a concern here. Let's see if we scroll through on our 10-game slate. I don't think that sort is working quite yet. I'll ask Mike about that. All right, Braves, Kyle Wright. 22-23 season stats. Last started back in September. October against the Mets, 87 pitches, 5 innings. Had a very strong end to the season last year. Against righties, limited the ISO. Against lefties, a little bit more power, typical there. So facing this Reds lineup, not sure there's a ton to fear. So Kyle Wright, looking at projections, is 9,300 on DraftKings. I'm sort of shocked by these price points on DraftKings. I have not played in 4 days. I was out of the country, as I said. So just pulling up quickly the slate, making sure I'm looking at the right information. Yeah, Manoah, last time out, gave up 1 hit, did have 4 walks, striking out 5. One of his worst outings. Stronger as the game went on. Looking at the game log quickly here. Did struggle in his opening season start. So I guess the price point makes some sense. I just see this matchup as absolutely a crush spot for Manoah. Quickly making our way through other stats. On the other side, Cardinals just 17.2% K percentage. ISO of 234 against lefties, 375 WOBA. Cardinals are going to be top stack, right? This is going to be a team looking at our projections, the stack tool. 10 points, average points per position here for a 5-man stack on DraftKings. So not shocking. You do have interesting leverage, though. Maybe leverage is the wrong word. But if you want to differentiate, the Angels and the Blue Jays are right there with expected home runs. Not there with average points, but this is a potential lineup. I should point out it's overall DK that I'm looking at. Then you have the top 5, top 4, top 3 as you make your way down on average points. So across the entire lineup, 10 points average is the expected outcome, according to MoonshotsMLB.com, for the Cardinals lineup. You do have some power here still for a team like the Angels against Josiah Gray. The Blue Jays have their matchup as well. This is going to be an interesting construction day because the Blue Jays against Matt Manning. Let me check out Manning's stats real quick. This is a Tigers. Let's look for the Tigers. There we go. 150 ISO versus lefties. 0.72 against righties. So Manning's done something right there. WOBA of 305 against lefties. And we'll see a projected lineup for the Blue Jays of Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, Dalton Varsho, Kirk, Brandon Belt. Belt could be some cheap value here. Now, you give up first base, and that clearly hamstrings you from getting some of the other great talent at first base, especially looking at the Cardinals in Coors Field with Paul Goldschmidt being an obvious top play at $5,600. But Brandon Belt against the righty Matt Manning here in Rogers Center. You want to play a little mid lineup stack of Varsho, Kirk, and Belt. I could see that working. Who else do we got here? Padres just 17.3% when it comes to strikeout rate against lefties. So again, this is a lineup that is pretty darn powerful. We know that. You'll see Bogarts, Machado, Soto, Cruz. I like David Peterson a lot, but this seems like a tough spot for him to be an effective pitcher. Take a look at Peterson. I went too far. Let's see. Mets, Padres, Peterson against righties. Walk rate is elevated. ISO, not too bad. Just 87 innings pitched, 25. Good K rate against both lefties and righties for David Peterson. First time out last time versus the Brewers. Did not fare well. 5 strikeouts, 5 walks, 1 home run allowed, 5 earned runs. So between the Padres, the Cardinals, the Angels, and the Blue Jays. So Blue Jays, Angels, Padres. Padres are not projected extremely well today. Machado and Soto on the launch menu. You see the update to the daily launch menu here where each book has its home run prop value. Pretty impressive from Mike to get that as a option here. You have clickable as well. So if I click on the top stacks, it then gives me the daily launch menu, gives me the hitters from that team. Maybe a catcher option here for the Angels as well. Meandering through again. Diamondbacks going to be a interesting use case against Corbin Burns. I think it does depend on that dome being open or not for how much upside that lineup has. The Mets are not a strikeout team against Ryan Weathers. Again, Pete Alonso becomes an option here. The rest of the Mets righties, you talk about Alonso, Francisco Alvarez is up, I do believe. Tommy Pham. I don't know what's Starling Marte's diagnosis. I know he was, or they thought he might be concussed. I think he was cleared. Neck soreness and is out of the Mets lineup on Monday, so we'll have to keep an eye on whether or not he is back in the lineup tonight for the Mets when all projected lineups come out. Blue Jays talked about, White Sox we talked about. And the team I have to talk about every time, Chris Flexen against the Chicago Cubs here. A Cubs projected lineup with Horner up top, Swanson, Ian Happ, Cody Bellinger. It's just $3,400. We know he strikes out, but we're just looking for a home run here. That's what we're doing. We're searching for a home run. And so this Cubs lineup, 23.5% K percentage, but an ISO against righties of 157. It's middle of the pack. But when you talk about someone like Cody Bellinger, you're just looking for one. Now, he's not on the daily launch menu. Right now, it's just Edwin Rios, who is in the launch menu, may bat 8th. And again, I'm a big proponent of getting a little weird when it comes to lineup construction on teams that are going to be popular. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the Cubs, but you talk about Rios and Tucker Barnhart at the bottom of the lineup. You go third base, catcher, 8-9, and then see who's leading off. Wrap it around, or even go 7-8-9. Though Patrick Wisdom's 5K, so I don't think I'd be making that move there. But still fun to move some pieces around. You go with someone like Rios, obviously, then you are not talking about our good friend Nolan Arenado, who will be uber popular. I assume Edman, Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Wilson Contreras, 5 of your most owned players on the day. Throw in Tyler O'Neill. Jordan Walker is still cheap on DraftKings, even though he's, I think, in a 10-game hit streak to start the year. Jordan Walker is just $2,900. Juan Yepes is $3K. So Not really sure what DraftKings is doing in that regard. Let's check our launch menu for the cards real quick. Right now, it's Arenado, Goldschmidt, and Contreras. All expected home run totals over 0.21. Arenado up at 0.36, and Goldschmidt at 0.29. Wonder what their parlay would be on any given app. If I can sign in quickly enough, probably not, because they all make you do multi-step authentication. Logging into, let's do the DraftKings Sportsbook if I can quickly enough here. DraftKings Sportsbook. Prefer to do all this on my phone just because I find it easier. But while that loads, so we are loaded. If we go to MLB and we go to games, we're going to scroll to, and this is not me giving you betting advice. I'm just reading from what's on the website and seeing what the value would be. Let's see. Batter props. Home runs. Arenado at plus 310. Paul Goldschmidt at plus 300. And who's our last? And Wilson Contreras. A plus 370 gives us a single game parlay. If we go back and look at SGP, sometimes the odds are different. Player to get a hit, player to hit a home run. Yeah. So our single game parlays odds are lower here. My request couldn't be handled. It's just too hot. That's why. So it'd be plus 4,500 for all three to hit a home run. Jordan Walker's at plus 550. So what's that? A $10 bet gets us $460. Again, parlays are for fun. Parlays are not to try to build a bankroll. You're going to want to look at individual wagers and game lines, and even the first five has become pretty popular. First inning and first five for over-unders and the like. I think it's important to be mindful and be smart. I used to talk about it with Daily Fantasy, talk with gambling. My old pal Emac and I would always talk about this should be for fun. If you're good at it and you become a professional, good on you, and keep that bankroll rolling. But just some fun facts here as we get through a discussion on this slate. So Jacob deGrom I haven't talked about as of yet. Obviously, Jacob deGrom is one of the top talents in the Major League pitching world. He is somebody that can go out and light up the radar, light up his opponent. If you're looking on the screen, all the numbers are green. WOBA, ISO. He struggled with a little bit with right-handed power. So again, if you want to get different, you want to talk about where there might be low ownership. You talk about Globe Life. I'm trying to find that in the matchups here. And Bobby Witt Jr., Sal Perez, Hunter Dozier, right? You want to find somebody who can maybe track one against deGrom and give you a solo home run. All of them seem fine. I don't think that's an advisable path to go down for multiple lineup construction. I don't think the Royals are a team that we're going to consider stacking on the day, but I think you can still find one-off potential home run against deGrom and maybe get really low ownership as that game goes. So again, me taking my first look at this slate, meandering, of course, but Wrigley Field, wind blowing out. Same in Citi Field, 15 miles per hour right now, according to the dashboard on moonshotsmlb.com. Giants, Oracle Park, 14 mile an hours out to dead center field is the forecast. Diamondbacks, 96 degrees, wind blowing from left to right there. Should be a fun slate. Should be a slate to dig into and track over the next 6 hours or so. Hope this is a decent introduction to you. To get your research started, of course, you can head on over to moonshotsmlb.com, find out what they have going on, what Mike has going on each and every day. There is more and more being made available to subscribers only. So you want to make sure you keep an eye on that, understand how the optimizer works, where the partnerships are there, what might be next in that regard. Hop into the Discord. Discord channels are going to be separated out a little bit. You're going to have normal Discord chat, but subscriber chat will happen as well. A little bit more access to some of the analysts over there who are doing daily work to try to get you the plays that you need to be successful in daily fantasy sports. With that said, hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments on YouTube, or of course, leave a comment on iTunes or Google or wherever you're listening to this podcast. And please be sure to listen to The Dish each and every day it's available. Not every day, but when it's available, you should listen and be sure to share on social media. Thanks so much, and see you next time.